Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today it is the third episode in my podcast series called It's Not All Doom and Gloom. If you're joining me on episode 3, do be sure to check out episode 1 and 2. Episode 1 was amazing. It was everyone kind of enjoyed it. The second one has gone out, so if you haven't seen that one as well, go check it out. Today's one, we are doing some more questions to find out about me. We're going to do this for a little bit just to get me into the swing of doing a podcast. So we have another 10 questions where we're going to delve into the dark mind of the Raven and find out more about me, my life, and just get to know me, because what better way to connect with my audience than by pouring my heart and soul out. If you have any questions you want to ask me, put them in the description, in the comment box, and we will do a future episode where we will go through viewers' questions. So I am taking these questions from a website. Basically, these are get to know me questions for like random people. So the first question is, when did you first feel like an adult? I mean, being an adult hits you quite quickly. From going from high school, I started working. Jesus, I had my first job when I was 17. I used to work in a newsagents in Shipdham. I started working on the deli. I actually cut my hand on the deli. That was an interesting story for another time. I think it would have been when I was 17. I started having a job. I was going to college. I then fell pregnant, all pretty much at the same time. I was trying to do college. I was trying to have a baby. I had my first job, all within the same space of like a year. So I went from being a child to thrown into motherhood, thrown into working, thrown into trying to get my own place. It went from 0 to 100, basically. Okay, that's not probably how everybody would have done it, but that's how Raven ended up doing it. The job came on a whim. I wanted money, so I got a job. I obviously had a child, and college was then kind of put to the side. It's hard to be a single mother and do college and work, so something had to give, and it was college originally. Then I had to give up my job at the time because I had to try and be a single mother. Things didn't go well in my first adult years, I must admit. If I could go back and do it again, would I change it? Maybe slightly. Maybe not all at once would be the idea. But that would probably be the first thing that piqued my interest. Was if I want something, then I need money. And then if I need money, I need a job. And then when I got a job and got pregnant, I then couldn't work and do college and have a child. So something had to give. And that's what becoming an adult is. It's learning to micromanage, to organize, and be responsible. I just did it all in the same year, like most people do. Question 2. Whose opinion do you care most about? Ooh, it's an interesting question. Whose opinion do I care most about? I mean, I'd like to say I care about my own opinions, but I also do value my children's opinions. Now, most people are going to say that maybe your children's opinions couldn't possibly be important because they haven't lived, they haven't experienced the world. Whatever their opinion be would probably be totally different to mine. And it probably is. But the thing is, you can learn a lot from not having experience. The thing is, when I make a decision, I can weigh up pros and cons and ifs and buts and yes and no's and weigh everything up. A child doesn't have that. A child hasn't lived through stuff. So their decisions are probably more spontaneous, more decisive. Yes, they probably don't have to think about it and weigh things up, but that also means that they might make a more executive decision on the fact that they're not weighing stuff up. They don't have to necessarily look at the negatives constantly thinking, well, no, this is a bad idea because of this, and this. And because they got blinkers on, maybe the best solution is that solution. But because I would weigh up the pros and cons, I then did that. And they're more headstrong because they don't know the other stuff. So I do care about my son's opinions. At the end of the day, you can care about somebody's opinion, but ultimately, even at that point, the ultimate decision is always your own. Although outside influence is never a bad thing, to get advice from somebody else or to hear someone's opinions. A third party, you know, when you are having a debate with somebody else, or you've got an opinion, your partner's got an opinion, and having a third person, it can't help sometimes having outside opinions. You can say, well, I do care about your opinion, but I've made a decision, and put it like that, I guess. It depends how you look at it. Always depends on what the actual opinion is. As long as it's a helpful opinion. I guess if it's a negative opinion, you may just like brush it off and not even listen to it, but that's entirely your choice then. But when things then fall apart, you can't go back and say, well, I should have listened to that opinion because they offered it to you. So the ball's in your court, basically. So what is the most important decision you have ever made so far? Most important decision you've ever made so far. So I'm going to do one that isn't my kids, because obviously having my kids would be the most important decision of my life. It's the biggest decision, aside from maybe moving house or marrying. Having a child is one of the biggest decisions you will ever make. The most important decision I've ever made is to do my career of retail. If you want to do it for something that isn't my children, retail being my career was a decision I made from literally being 17. When I went into that newsagents and started working there, and then I branched out from there to working in the early learning centre. Then I worked for Argos, I've worked for Woolies, I worked for Index, and I've gradually worked up to where I am now, where I'm a key holder at the store I work in. It may not seem much in the 30 odd years I've been on this planet, but for me, it's a pat on the back that I've gone and had 3 children and still managed to get myself a career that I am invested in and then I actually won. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you that retail is a terrible thing. And don't get me wrong, retail is an easy job. Best decision I ever made was retail, but it is I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is no easy feat to be in retail. And I have done retail since I was young. Each store is different. Each store works differently. Each company works differently. Customers are different. Each store I've ever been in, customers are different. Different customers, from Argos to Index to Early Learning Centre. And even in the place I work now, the customers are different. The staff is different. The way the place works is different. And even in this economy now is different. So everything has an impact. And I chose retail mainly for the interchangeableness of customer service, the interchangeableness of people. No 2 days are the same in retail. One day you can have everything go perfectly fine, and the next day everything goes wrong. Customers are different every day. Some days they're nice as pie, and other days you just wish you could close the store. So the next one, aside from necessities, what's one thing you could not go a day without? Okay, what could I not go a day without? Aside from necessities. So you obviously need food, you obviously need water. What could I go a day without? Could I go a day without the internet? In this day and age, that would be a hard thing to do, because I couldn't work. I couldn't communicate, because we're literally fixated on Wi-Fi or internet. Could I go a day without my phone? I spend a lot of time on my phone when I'm not at work because I also do vintage selling. So I use my phone. Quite a lot of the apps I use to get through the day are on my phone. Ooh. What could I go without for a day? I don't know. I could probably go for a day without listening to music. I know that's not basis and necessity, but if you knew me, I listen to music 24/7, all day, every day. I'm literally a music connoisseur. I literally eat music up. I listen to music when I do everything. Bath, wash up, go on the bus, go for a walk. I've got music in my head, music in my ears. I suppose I could go without music for a day. If we were not doing like food, water, internet, phone, which is the obvious ones, probably music. Oh, I'd be disappointed though, because there'd probably be a new song that come out that I'd really like. It's always the way. What do you enjoy spending money on? Well, I mean, who doesn't enjoy spending money? Honestly, I'm not a big spender per se. I mean, if you want to give me the money, I'll quite happily spend it. But if I'm having to spend my own money, I am quite cautious. I like buying things like mystery boxes, blind bags, candles. Oh my God, the candles. Incense, reed diffusers, serial killer books. I mean, I like spending things that I have an interest in. So I don't just buy like stuff that I'm not going to use. My serial killer books, I will read and research. The candles I burn for obvious reasons to keep the house smelling nice. So when I buy something, I don't just spend. Their necessities, their essential items, or what I call essential. Someone else may not call a candle and a serial killer book essential, but I do. That's me. That's what I enjoy spending money on. I'm not really one for like spending money on having my nails done, having a pedicure, manicure, frivolous purchases that I don't necessarily need or want. And I don't buy anything just because it's there or because I have the money. Usually when I buy something, it's for a purpose, it's for a reason, it's because I need it for something. It's not just because, oh, I have this money, I could just go buy something. Question 26. What is something that always makes you smile? My cat. Midnight. Midnight isn't here, obviously. He's at my ex's house with my youngest. But my cat, no matter what day I've had, if you know Midnight and you've seen him on my channel before, even in your darkest days, and I've had people pass away, I've had really rough days, you snuggle with that cat and I tell you, your problems melt. They don't disappear. They're still there the next day, unfortunately. But it's because he's a cat. He doesn't know any different. He's like, you're having a bad day. And he's like, yeah, and I just need someone warm to sit on. Or I'm trying to do my work when I go over and see my ex and I see my son. And I try and do a bit of work while I'm there, while tea's cooking and that. And we have an evening together. And the cat will just sit himself on my laptop because that's where he wants to sit. And I'm like, I'm trying to work here. But then you're like, oh, but he just wants some company. And like, he's just melting my heart. But yeah, my cat Midnight has supported me, non-judgmental as well. I do like a non-judgy cat. He always makes me smile. Question 27. What are you most thankful for? I mean, most people are going to say the obvious. I'm thankful to be alive. Yes, I am. I did survive COVID, not once, but twice. I know a lot of people wouldn't say that's a testament, but I didn't think I was going to survive the first time because it was that horrendous. But I am thankful for the fact that, excuse me, I've been at work. I'm thankful for the fact that I get to just be who I want to be. Is that a thing to be thankful for? I've been judged throughout my life for being a goth, being a YouTuber, being this, being that, being a young mother, blah, 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 being a single mother, you name it, I've been judged. And I'm thankful for the fact that I came out as strong, confident, and independent as I am. I've had a very rough life. Very rough. I can't even go into details on how terrible my life has been from start to finish so far. I've lived through stuff that people can only dream of. And I know that's going to sound like a big charade and a big, but it is. My life, if you asked somebody who knew me, they would tell you the same thing. So I am just grateful that I am here, that I have survived, and that I can continue to be who I am. Okay, 28. What are you most looking forward to? Well, I have a grandchild coming in August, so that's something to look forward to. I'm looking forward to next year. I want to sack this year off as another loss with the last 3 years, thanks to COVID. I'm looking forward to next year. I think 2024 is my year. I don't know why. But I have a feeling. I've had quite a bad year so far. And I could be positive, but I'm going to be realistic. I think next year is my year. We're going to skip. Let's skip to 2024. I don't have anything planned for 2024, but I am looking forward to that year for some reason. I don't know. I just want to sack 2023 off. And we're not even a quarter of a way through the year yet. I don't know why. 29. What do you wish more people understood about you? I wish people understood that I am me, and that's not going to change. I have molded my personality. I have molded who I am through the experiences I've had through my life. And if you know me well enough, you'll know I've had a pretty hard life. And I would say that I just want people to understand that getting to this point wasn't easy. And if you had to go through the same stuff I had, you'd be how I am, or at least I would hope. Life was a struggle. It was no easy feat. And to pull through it to where I am now, I sometimes give myself a round of applause and a pat on the back. And even work colleagues and friends always say that they cannot believe that I am so strong. And I have to be, because if not, I'd fall apart. I'd sit in a corner, I'd cry, I'd have a breakdown, and that's not doing anybody any good. So I wish more people understood that this is who I am because of how I've come to this position. And believe me, how I am and the determination and the confidence and the being independent, it took a lot to get here. And I'm still learning, even to this day, my personality and everything still changes. I don't know if I've quite found who I am yet, at least not entirely. And question 30, what is the greatest challenge or struggle you have ever faced? I would say the greatest struggle I ever had was being made homeless while I was pregnant, having to give up college and not being able to work at the same time, and losing everything I thought I had within the space of a week. You ever had that happen to you? So a tiny little story. I found out I was pregnant and the father didn't want anything to do with it. So he threw me out and made me homeless. I then had nowhere to live. I then couldn't work because I was pregnant. I was having morning sickness. I was then trying to do college, but then had to give that up. So then I became homeless, penniless because I couldn't do my job, and I had to leave college and had to strive to be a single mother, financially, find somewhere to live and cope all by myself. And I did it. And I came out even better and stronger than I was back then. And then I went on to have 2 other children. So I have 3 children in total. And I have to say that that was the greatest struggle I ever had to face, was having a child at 18 with nowhere to live and no money. And I guess getting to where I am today. I have nearly 3 adult children. My youngest is 15 and my eldest will be 21 this year. And he is having his first child. And I would say my greatest struggle was having kids. It's no easy feat having a child young. I don't condone not having one, but maybe not do it how I did. A child, college, work, become homeless, do it all in the same week. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but it's how I've come to be who I am. So maybe it was how it was meant to be. So if you want to like, subscribe, give us a bit of thumbs up. If you want to help the channel out, a PayPal, super chat, or super thanks. Thank you for listening to It's Not All Doom and Gloom episode 3. Let me know if you're liking this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. I do have some more questions. The next questions I have are funny questions to get to know me, which are about nightmares, strange things, telling you some stories. So let me know if you like that idea. I hope you enjoy It's Not All Doom and Gloom episode 3, and I will see you very soon for another video. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.